Okay. So we in the building. We in the building. How's everybody doing? Hold on, pardon me. I'm just getting my little drink here real quick. All right. As you know, all right, this is Old York Gritty. And yes, I gritty New York. Okay, so we in the building. We talk about everything under the sun as long as it is real in the building. That's all we do. We don't deal with no speculations. We deal with observations and calling it for what it is. And so, the question that one should be asking was the Crips and Bloods victims of the LGBTQ, all of those letter plus community agenda, right? Did they set this out in order to set that up, even though I know that both organizations are associated with Freemasonry. So the bodies could be used for many different things, right? You know, so as long as they couldn't be claimed, right? And so you can imagine how many bodies, were used for these experiments. That's, of course, if you understand what I'm saying about Freemasonry and the science of God and the science of science itself and using this technology, which we would say, right? In order to make these mental slaves, right? And so as we go here, I'm gonna use some video from Kev Mack, right, out in California, and Spliff D, right? And so the interview is gonna be with Monster Kody and OG Cutes. Kody from 1A Trade Gangsta Crips, and Cutes, it's from Magnificent Seven. Now I'm also gonna be showing um um Jamel Bowens. I'm sorry if I don't get his name right, but he is a co-founder of the Crips, and his take on um Tookie and these allegations. Now I'm not gonna say I buy into all of it, so that's why I'm gonna play it in a way where everybody's word gets heard, and I can give my outlook on it. So we're gonna go into this video, right? Let's bring up the video here, right? Take it from the top.
Raymond Washington. Let me tell you how Raymond Washington was. Raymond Washington would come over my house in 1971 and 72. He had a 53 Chevy. Him and Pookie would pull up. They would blow the horn. My mother would say, "Who's that out there blowing that damn horn?" And I look out the window, it's Pookie and Raymond sitting in the car. I go out to the car and they said, "Hey, cute, let's go to the Kappa House." The Kappa House at this time was on Crenshaw and Washington. That's where we would go. They would have dances. So I get out to the car and Raymond say, "Where's your brother with the red hair?" I said, "He's in there. Go get him." I go get Rusty. "Rusty, you want to go with us?" "Yeah." So Rusty gets in the car. Me and Rusty. When I went in the house to get Rusty, I went and got a sawed-off 12 gauge. I put the 12 gauge inside of me and covered it. Now I get in the back car. I'm in the back seat like this. So Raymond's talking, the radio's going, Pookie's talking. I whisper over to Rusty. I say, "Don't say I got the gun," like that. So we chilling and shit. So Raymond's telling me about Swig as we rolling down to go to the Cap House. So I asked Raymond.
V&G?
Yeah. So I asked Raymond. He told me he wanted to fight Swig. I asked Raymond. I said, "Hey Raymond, are you going to actually park the car, get out, come inside of the Kappa House?"
And now let me stop because I got this, this picture up. Now, as you could see, the Kappa sign. You can, I mean, as far as the hand sign, and we can also see this building. Now, if I told people, we know with Greek psychology, these are secret societies, and these societies are throughout the universities. Now, these societies, right, that are secretive, that are Freemasonic, right, would be able to set up an impressionable person, right, through these different intricate people, right, and build up an imagery, right, that would allow him to form a group, right, that can grow throughout, the community. Now, the only messed up part is once they took out the head, which was Raymond Washington, right, and the disappearance of this leader form, right, led to this outbreak that we will be going into later. But the main objective here is really to show the LGB community. But I wanted to take the time, because we will be showing both of them at the same time. As we're addressing one, we're addressing the psyche, right? The mesmerism, the social construct in which was placed inside of this system.
With us, or you just dropping us off? He says, "I'm going to fight Swig, and then I'm going to come back up here." I said, "Well, let us go with you to fight Swig. You're going to go up there. We want to go with you. There's a lot of them up there at the park." He says, "Nah, I don't want to take y'all. I'm going to go by myself." So me, Pookie, Rusty, we all get out. We jump the back gate, go up in the Kappa house. Raymond comes back. And Raymond was a kind of a guy, he like.
Right. So now we're going to talk about Jamel. Jamel is um a leader, or was a leader in the foundation of the Crips, right?
I was really let down by what that dude Jamel did. That fucking piece of shit.
Did you know Jamel?
I knew Jamel personally. Man, I used to hold the gun for Jamel when he used to go down the street and cheat with a girl my age. And she was my age. And I'm like 10 years under that dude. But look, that dude was saying some bad shit about Tookie, man, at the end, man. That dude was saying that Tookie know he did that shit. That Tookie molested all of us. He was saying some really crazy ass shit on these talk shows, man. I was really let down by what that dude Jamel did. That fucking piece of shit.
Did you know Jamel?
I knew Jamel personally. Man, I used to hold the gun for Jamel when he used to go down the street and cheat with a girl my age. And she was my age. And I'm like 10 years uh, under that dude.
Now my thing is he's admitting to, the foulness of one side, while he also admitted inside his books that they
I was fed up
dealt
with
with
Tookie's
this.
bullshit. Tookie lied on me in his book, said some things about me personally that he fucked me in my ass. And I don't play that bullshit because I'm from the east side and I'm the original founder of the Crips. I was fed up with Tookie's bullshit. Tookie lied on me in his book, said some things about me personally that he fucked me in my ass, and I don't play that bullshit because I'm from the east side and I'm the original founder.
Now, he is upset, right, that Tookie claimed that, you know, he had sexual relations with this guy. So now, as we see these founders, even Monster Cody inside the book Monster, he talks about these actions, these rapes and these type of things that was coming out of this organization, and these were young boys, right? So even though we see them now, we understand that they're grown now, but at the time of these acts, these were young kids, so they were being attacked mentally by a system. Like a matter of fact, in once the Monster Cody's story, she said the guy had tied the guy up and had him under the under the bed, and these type of things. So we know that this structure did not frown upon those actions, at least, because outside of the certain people who were being exposed for their actions within the system, it clearly wasn't much of a frown upon thing, right?
Guy that you buffed up, that Tookie guy. I said, Arnold, he's on death row. That's unfortunate. Do you know he said that he wished he was the governor, and 6 months later, he was the governor? Wow. Arnold should exclude himself and not let Tookie free because Tookie is a pedophile.
Tookie is a pedophile?
He's a pedophile.
That's a new charge. Oh.
See, so now they're listening to him and they're like, oh, wait a minute, he a pedophile. So now he's feeding them information. But we must remember, he had just explained. He was saying the things that he said because he was upset because Tookie made allegations that he had sex with him. So now he's saying, wait a minute, if you had sex with me, then now I'm saying you had sex with these other boys. So we come to the conclusion of, is he saying this simply because, or should we look at the evidence that's being laid out in front of us? We know Monster Cody has said these type of things in his books. We hear these allegations. Anybody knows California, for some reason, that's a part of that York right, and of course also the, what do you call them, the um well no, actually I would think it would be more Scottish, and with the York, it would be the Knights Templars and all of that type of stuff. But this would be an advanced conversation. So really, but if we understand that there's two sides, we have the split the nation, left and right, west to north. Used to be north to south, now is east to west. So now with this split, you have, the Scottish, and then you have the York. These two systems that clashes itself out. So on the west, we see this progressive system, with they call it progressive, right? And so with that, they indoctrinate their people under this system. And this progressive system, it rejects the Bible, rejects those laws, rejects, saying that this community, the alphabet crew, community, I call them the Smash Board, the Smash Keyboard crew, that community um has something, that's played a part in this. We can always look on the West, we could see what was taken. So like I said, even if I take his statement about Turkey being um um a raper with, because he mentions the 8-year-old kid and this, that, and the third. Like I said, I don't know how much to take to truth, and or even if I reject it, I'm only playing him because Monster Cody had mentioned him, and I was like, all right, well, here, let me give his voice in this. Now, how much of it is out of vindictiveness because someone said that he actually had sex with you, not some herd. He's telling you an action that he did upon, Jamel, right? And so Jamel is upset that he can't get to him for making such accusations, right? So he's ready to take on the whole, the system, because of this, right? And so we go on, but like I said, Monster Cody, even though Monster Cody is saying he's disappointed in this guy for saying what he's saying, his own testimony and statements make him a co-signer of it, even if he doesn't like it or not, because like I said, within his book, he was making these statements himself.
What do you know about that?
I know police officers like my cousin and other police officers that Tookie used to chase when they was 8 years old. That are police officers now.
Boys or girls?
Boys.
Tookie used to chase little 8-year-old boys. Did he catch any of them? Did he do anything bad?
He caught one of them and raped him and sodomized him, and that's why they got shot up in Compton. And
you see, this right here is where I go, okay, he said he got shot up and all of that, but why are you hiding this guy? I mean, unless you're saying you're his friend, but why would you be co-signing that? Right? Me as an individual, there are things that I've never co-signed. I don't care who you around, who you are, what I've never been in, put it like this, I've never been in a position to need somebody to the point where my morals and dignities should be placed on the line. Now, there's been times where, peer pressure might have played a part in certain things, but never to the point that even that peer pressure would make me go against morals, rape, and all of those type of things. Like I'm not here for that. I'm not that type of person. So that's why I would call him in the question. Like, well, you throwing him to the wolves, which if it's true, it should be. But then now I gotta question you. Like, why would you have looked out for him if he was this despicable person now because he said that he had sex with you? He was a degenerate person back then as well, as all that I'm saying.
that's why I took him up out of Compton and took him to the West Side. He is a cold-blooded murderer.
Now, when did you leave the Crips?
Tookie.
See, now they asked him, like, when did he leave the Crips, basically, like, for you to know this stuff about it. He was like, nah, he was still connected and whatnot.
Is a cold-blooded killer.
What about
Tookie was in the boys' home when I met him and recruited him into the Crips for trying to rape his sister.
Now, again, right, if this is the character of Tookie, right, that he was in the boy home, I don't know, I didn't do the research in it. I'm not here to slander the man. This is not about Tookie. This is about a environment, a mindset, right? There's gay rape in environment. That's what this is really about, right? This is about Crips and Bloods, victims of the LBG, TQ plus community, and how they hid themselves within this community, allowing them to grow, because in Freemasonry, right, is this secret society, right, that's inside of them, so they can have these conflicts, listen to their descriptions of things, and it would be more clear.
Well, yeah, these things are terrible, but they don't compare to actually murdering 4 people.
See, now they're saying trying to rape your sister is not worse than killing 4 people. I think it is, for me. I think um the trying to rape children and all of that, I think that's worse, in my personal opinion, than killing. I think killing is up there. Don't get it twisted, right? But this degenerate mindset, if it were true, I'm not saying it is, and I would hope that it is, and it's not for me to judge. I'm just reporting, right, on a bigger picture, the LGBTQ community, right, and the agenda through Freemasonry. And I'm going to show you the Freemasonry. Now, I showed you through the Kappas, right? And the hand sign, that's why when you look at the bees throwing the Bloods, how they throw up their symbol, right? We'll be getting into that too.
Right. Always used to be talking about robbing people.
See, now that the white man wanted him to talk about the wickedness of him, he went back to the shootings and all that. Robbing
and this other person, they trying to state evidence. He killed them with his pump that was registered in his name. He used to keep it in the boys' home.
But you don't have any specific...
He used to keep a pump shotgun in the boys' home. So this is Avalon. This is him. This is a Monster talking about, yeah, he technically was a founder.
He was saying some really crazy ass shit on these talk shows, man. And that dude Jamel, man, that dude was, man, from all the times I've been around Tookie, and when that dude would pull up, they were grown. They didn't like that dude much, man. He didn't bathe. He's a big old nasty motherfucker. And he thought he had entitlement, like he was on Tookie's level, but he wasn't. He just was an offset, a dynamic, a light-skinned, gargantuan motherfucker that looked it terrible next to Tookie, but he was a backboard, and it was a bounce-off. It was always more women and more of us following Tookie than him when they went through the forum or went to the Coliseum. And my point is, yeah, Tookie gets a badass rap, man, and motherfuckers don't even know. Man, I seen some daring-ass shit. I mean, just some daring gangster shit that they did. That was just, that nobody would even just overstand today, man. But it was just what the times, man. And that shit made me a man. The shit I learned from them, man, the good, the bad, and the ugly made me who I am today. I am right now the sum total of everything I've been through, man.
Okay, so they talk about no leadership. So you understand that this was not a Black Panther movement. This was a bunch of criminals, who had free
Give me a
reign
reason in your own
of
words why
staying out of
somebody
each
your
other's
age,
way.
born in 61 to 63, might think Jamel was the leader of the Crips.
I can't imagine anybody in my generation, and I'm saying from 63 to 66, 67, anybody in that range who became Crips later on would ever believe that Jamel was a founder, a leader of the Crips. Now, that's not true, and that is true, because he started the Avalon Garden Crips. He was the leader of some Crips.
Some Crips.
But not the Crips.
The Crips.
There was no leader of the Crips. It was just founders. Man, that's what made that shit so beautiful. It wasn't fucking regiment. It wasn't like
we were freewheeling bangers having fun, no structure.
Yeah.
We were just thugs out and about, but we respected each other, and we realized looking back on it, you know, there was good and bad in everything people do.
And I want to say that's why I do not want to throw any dirt on anybody's name, right? To understand the dynamics of this whole system, right? Understand that these were young children. They grown men now, but they were young children then, right? Who did not know a system that was being placed, right? They didn't know social construct. They didn't know the psychology of sociology at play, right? They didn't understand this through these borders, right? These bordered lines of these criminals that made not them, they wasn't the criminals yet, right? That, you know, who set up these lines to segregate and many other things, these criminals created this system. They created it. Right? So that's why, you know, I'm like, no, I'm telling you, a lot of these people were victims to a religion that they didn't know, right? Or one that was to challenge your God. Well, if your God, why can't he stop or save? And these questions and these type of things, right? And we know the gay agenda was like, yeah, you know, yeah, they gonna get them. If you rape somebody, when they go to jail, they gonna get you. Like I said, me personally, I've and all my time in jail, I didn't do like super long time in jail, but I did enough time where I could say that I've only heard of like, and once was in New York and once was in Connecticut, you know, somebody, you know, rumored to had been raped. Right, one I could say, okay, the dude was in the box and I was in the box, right, for a riot. So, you know, I remember that dude coming through and he said he was being blamed for it, but he sounded iffy. So I kind of, you know, he wasn't around me. I'm in the box. You know, he's like cells down. You know what I mean? And another one was a rumor, but like that I didn't know have no connections to. Like it could have been somebody trying to throw dirt on a name, and like there was nothing that came about for me to say yeah that was true or not, right? But what I'm saying is this system, right, where it's promoted, suggested, right? Because that's what we got to watch out for, a system of suggestion, right? And so when we listen to, you know, these brothers, we got to also understand that there's more to be said.
You know, but the bottom line is that these guys wasn't painted all bad. These guys were nice guys. We had days where we had so much fun together, doing so much activity, lifting weights, going to dances, going by clothes, talking to girls, eating food. You know what people do to enjoy themselves.
You know, a question I always get, Cutes, is how do guys like me, you, Monster, call these dudes that on death row cool guys?
Because for the simple fact is that no one knows where your choices is going to take you. No one knows when you got a system that's structured to keep you down, it's going to oppress you. There's a lot of things that you blind of. There's no employment, so therefore we had to do something for fun. And unfortunately for some of us, we took the road of least resistance, which was a road of resistance, because we spent most of our youth in jail. This brother right here, ever since I could remember, when he came into being with his cripping, he and I wasn't on the set together. And the first time I ran into him was after I hadn't seen him for like 30 plus years. And he recognized me coming up out of a hamburger stand. He called out to
You
me.
on your way in.
I was on my way in. We walk like ships in the night, past it. But it was a feeling, an aura that radiated off of both of us. And we dared ask each other, "Hey man, is you such and such in band?"
Off the top.
Off the
Off the
top.
top.
Yeah, off the top.
Monster, how are predatory acts amongst our people fun?
Yeah, it was a dangerous kind of fun, man. You know. But this is how I look at it, though. This is the lens from which I look through. All right. There's stages like there's a pressure that's pressing down on us nationally, all the way across the board. Everybody has their own way of responding to that weight called oppression. Some dudes or some females, you know, the weight's too much, they become psychotic. They have mental problems.
Yeah.
Some people start self-medicating. Some people become serial killers. Some people become great sports athletes. Some people become mathematicians. So whatever the weight is pressing, depending on what how that dynamic is trained.
That's a fact, right? So with that, hold on, we're about to enter secret society. So he's gonna explain, how, you know, this was basically a secret society, even though he was unaware at that time. And I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to make this video, even though I was planning to make it while he was still alive. I just never got around. I got so much information that I be trying to get out, you know, I be trying to be selective. So, you don't want to be causing too much problems with people and this, that, and the third. They might not be mature enough to handle this truth, this agenda, this Freemasonic agenda, and they might not know what it truly is, right? And so I'm pointing out, this agenda and showing it, right? Like I said, I wish I had the monster book. I would be reading from there. You know me. I would be reading from there and showing you the same
That shit
context
used to fuck me
again.
up. That ain't how we was raised. That ain't how I saw them. I knew the dudes was killers, but they never let us know and never let us see. They was really a secret society, like, and it was just them. And all we could do was run errands and hope to be like that, to be made one day, to be made. That's how it was. That's how we had our own little good fella thing going on. They was our parties and shit. No, just one generation to the next. Now here I am. Damn, longevity. Longevity has its place. Martin Luther King said.
Right? So now, in that, we see, like I said, I wanted to address Monster Cody. I wanted to address, them going to these to the Kappa house. Now people would not understand, right? But remember, it was really they were sneaking in, right? Whereas um Raymond Washington and Pookie and them could just go in the front door because they was at an age. They used to throw parties there. You know what I'm saying? He's sneaking in. He going through the back door with a shotgun, right? Cute. So, right. So now we have the Kappa house. I hope the Kappa house. I hope you understand. I put up the symbol, right, for the Kappa. I hope you understand what is happening now. We about to go into Chicago. Well, it's going to be in how Chicago and Prince Hall Freemasons played a part with the Bloods. Right, and this should be the last one right here, the last clip.
is the reason why the Black Peace Stones became the Peace Stones. Again, giving you niggas some history because cats are always talking. The Jungles was just called, it was called the Jungles, homie, back in the days. It was called Jungle Stones. So when T. Rogers and his brothers came along, you know what I'm saying, Gangsta Rob and them and Red, when they came along from Shy and they hit the Jungles back in the late 70s, we talking about 79, 78, almost 80. T set up shop.
Set up shop.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, shop meaning the hall.
Okay.
Got the Prince Hall. So now, by him setting up the hall, he started recruiting little homies.
He set up the Prince Hall Freemasons. And then he started recruiting the little homies, right? Now, T. Rogers is Black Peace Stones from out of Chicago, which he clearly just told you was a Freemasonic organization. Now, he again brought that system from Chicago into LA when they were already dealing with the system anyway, but they was dealing with it under a different name, which would be, the Greek fraternities, the Kappas. Right? So now we see that you have the Prince Hall Freemasons, and so we can see the whole Chicago, right? And we will be touching on that later, not today, but I'll make a whole new video on Chicago because my main objective is to bring some light on this. So my question would be when it came to at least the Crips, were they like Zulu Nation and taking advantage sexually of their young recruits who they were recruiting at a young age, right? And was this a part of the agenda?
From the Jungles, and he started teaching them the word and started teaching them. So that's how a lot of them started getting involved. So once they got involved, he put the P into the stone, so it became Black Peace Stone. That's how they became Black Peace Stone. T. Rogers stamped the Black Peace Stone, but Chicago think.
Now I don't know how much he's saying because Black Peace Stones is from Chicago. So if they're Black Peace Stones, right, Jungle Stones is different. Now, if you Black Peace Stones that's in the jungle, then yes, Chicago can say through his admission that, yes, Chicago set up their thing. It was already called the jungle. Right? Peace Stones, we know, is a Chicago thing. Black Peace Stones, Black Peace Stone Rangers and all of these different names under that banner of in Chicago. Right? So yes, they did come and bring their Freemasonic method within that system. So when we look at these gangs, we need to understand that they have been used for this structure. Right? And it's time for the people to wake up. It's time. It's time for them to say, wait a minute. We have been worshiping a system, a mind system that's been tricking us. Right? So let me show you again. I did a show back in a while where we was talking about Watch the Feet. Right? So I'm gonna play this as I'm talking. Right? And you see the two in the middle or the last three guys. They are all standing in the Freemasonic stance. Right? Let me play this. Right? See the guys. Look at the feet. Just study the feet. I know it's zooming kind of fast. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually slow this pace down. Slideshow settings. Um, see, like, All right, that slowed it down a bit, you think? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to slow it down. You know what I'm saying? I want to slow it down for you, for you to see and you can understand. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, my fault. My fault. I might be over here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I put it for like a 10-second like delay. Let's see, maybe a little bit faster. 5 seconds. All right. All right. So this is, tubal cane, two balls in a cane. Study the feet because these are black masons, right? See the feet. See my man right here with the gun. He's under the spell, right? See them move in a corner. They under the spell. They're in their job is to put other people under the spell, right? So you see my man on the wall, see him right here in the front, right? See, now this is Chicago, so you see my boy right. Forgive me, I got the overlay on. All right, so this is just basically to explain what is taking place, right? The mental have been so shocked that they probably would never even understand how they have been. Oh wait, that's my problem right there. And black border. Okay, there you go. See, that's what I wanted off of there, that border. All right. Okay. So, in that we could see, right, that these people have been put under a spell. They're in a spell. They don't know. They're worshiping the same people that put them under the spell. Right, so they're giving props to, and they know it. That was Bounty Hunter BJ. You can go check him out on Spliff D, right? He mentions a lot of the LBG stuff and, in his own way. Like I said, my thing is, if you're not aware of how the system attacks, by the time you even close to having any awareness, the system has already got you. And I don't mean necessarily you into that lifestyle, but the system will get rid of you. They'll put hits on you. You understand what I'm saying? Like I personally feel they did to Raymond Washington. I feel they set a system up, had him right there in it, and right after he set it up and had this union. I don't even know why I was that there. Oh, you got the carrot. No, yeah, sorry. That's how he's supposed to be there. Oh, these are some memes that I had. Okay, my fault. I didn't mean to have those inside that folder. Right, so let me take this away. Right, so like I said, inside of this right here, right, this was not an attack on Monster Kody. His words tell you they were doing that inside the system, right? We see this system of the dead, right? And so it's an underground religion, an underground belief system that you need to watch out for. Right? We see the Freemasonic order. We hear it exactly from two different sides. One through the Prince Hall, right here, and then the other through a more indirect through the Kappas, right? And so with that, I'm gonna slide out. Everybody be good. Peace. You have a good one.